or by October 2 of this year. What happened to A&L Acres in the last 5 months, basically, is the Daughters of the American Revolution petitioned them to do a boundary line relocation because it involves property which is of historic nature out there. And the Feeneys were good enough to go back to the planning board on an amended application so as to give this property gratuitously, no cost to the town or to the DAR, to the DAR. They did that and it was recently completed. Now they run into a problem meeting the October 2 final date for the Phase 1 construction, etc. So what they've asked the planning board is to consider a procedure whereby they will have an amended or a second amended conditional final application, which the board can take up within the purview of their application procedure, knowing the DAR parcel has now come out. And there will be no public hearing, no seeker to be redone, no fees to be incurred, and then, assuming the board planning agrees with that concept, it would extend out by approximately another 360-day period their timeline or window within which to obtain final approval. And the board is comfortable in doing that. They just wanted your board, the town board, to be aware. I know some number of the councilmen were there today and they understood the process. But before they do things of that nature, they don't want to violate, if you will, your philosophical positions. They wanted you to be aware of it. I advised the supervisor today that I found the procedure to be absolutely acceptable and legal and proper. And I so instructed and advised Rick Golden, who is the planning board attorney, so he can convey that to them on Thursday night. Because it's assumed that by Thursday they will start to act on this or take up the proposal.
What's at stake here for the builder is the builder has been in the process of excavating to put new roads in so that he can put the new roads in before cold weather and he won't have to bond as much. A significant saving to him. He's made a decision. He'd rather put his money in the road than he would give it to the bank to bond it. And so he had the equipment and the people ready to do that, but he's not going to be able to finish his entire job by October 2nd. And so there's the request.
And the key thing to the board, I know Lou will appreciate this, is the time window. If in fact there's any delay, all work is going to have to stop, and he'll be placing, in theory, constructing a road in November through January, as opposed to October and early November. And so for obvious reasons, conditions and weather, it makes eminent sense to go this route. It was just a question of, again, the planning board feels comfortable. They just wanted to make sure informationally the town board was aware of what they were about to do.
So this change, he has donated the land?
Yes,
he did. No charge?
He did. A&L Acres principals, which are Feeney, no charge. In fact, to my knowledge, there was not only no fee for the property that they gave to the DAR, there was no fees or pass along of any of the costs, engineering or otherwise, which again Feeney absorbed. As a request from the DAR, and also a request, I think, from the supervisor, it's fair to say. I think Doug felt strongly that this could be done. It should be done.
The school, the historic school on 17A, and when you really, the DAR thought they had quite a bit of land for that, to include encompassing the back house and some other things on the property. Not true. That belonged to the Feeneys, and they didn't realize it until this plot was shown to them where all the building was going to take place. They came and talked to me, and I said, well, let's talk to Mr. Feeney. And we brought him in, we explained to him, and he said, well, he would do his best, and he did. He went out, spent the money on engineering and this and that, and redid his plot, and donated the money to the property to the DAR free of charge. So the concern I had this afternoon, and I think it was pretty well allayed, is precedent setting. The very fact is that this request kind of came from, not from the builder, but from somebody else, namely the DAR of the town, and he went along with it, so that new date is something that was generated in response to us, versus having some other builders, land developers, wanting to come in and extend it later on and say, oh, well, we're going to do something, change ours, and we'll say, no, you may run out of time. So anyway, And I was reassured by both attorneys that there was a rationale here, that something definitely happened, that was for the betterment of the community and so forth, where it may not be with the other builders that are going forward. So that's where it's at.
So
So what are the...
no action is required of the town board?
No, there's no action by us, but it will be the planning board.
Correct.
Well, we'd like some input from the board. What are your thoughts on this kind of thing?
Well, I was at the meeting today, so I'm 100% in favor of it. Once again, we don't have to take any action, and the circumstances are really more than commendable. So I would have no problem planning board.
And as indicated, that's what I conveyed to Attorney Gold, the planning board attorney, because he in turn is going to relay that recommendation, input, if you will, direction to the planning board, so that they're aware that at this level, the board has no problem with the issue and finds it to be acceptable and legal.
What about the rest of the board, yeah?
Yeah, and the rest of the board may have a question on it, because it can be a little confusing. Again, it took us a while to hammer it out today. But in a nutshell, it's as I expressed.
Well, as I understand it, I think it's kind of a fair trade. Given the fact that the people were good enough, the Feeney brothers were good enough to donate the land. That, I guess the least we can do is accommodate them for what they did.
And it's a legitimate application consideration, if you think about it, because they have to come in and reapply for their entire subdivision, have to reconfigure it, et cetera. And we just didn't believe it was fair to penalize them for that reconfiguration, knowing that the basis of the reconfiguration was our request, the DAR's request, and they were receiving no benefit out of it whatsoever.
It's more than just giving up the land, which is the nice part of it. It was the time that they gave up.
Oh, yeah.
That something like this could have happened.
And with Doug's point of view, that we set a precedent now.
No.
Correct.
I was very careful set a precedent.
These have special.
Yeah, exactly. Correct.
Can I vote?
I don't have a problem with anybody, your extension.
Oh,
I say a year.
That's the maximum.
Yeah, that's
They
the-
won't take it.
They won't take it.
I'm sorry.
This process,
They started in the spring, I said, I agree, not agree with the judge's donation, but 6 months they lose to the winter, okay, but good luck when they start right this spring.
I expect that they will. It's just, I was referring just to state
Okay,
law.
that's in the back,
Yeah.
just in case.
Yeah, the state law extension maximum is 360 days
Oh.
by law.
Okay, thank you, Dennis. We just through that. The next item is we got a request by the town justice to hire Lois, can someone pronounce that?
Yeah, I might get this first name.
Is it wide for that?
Y-N-T-E-M-A?
I bet just end them.
Well, whatever.
I bet you they.
Yeah.
Implement. Yeah. And you can...
But I don't, hey, I gotta.
So moved. Anyway, we respectfully request a resolution to appoint Lois as part-time court clerk to replace Samara Matos. And the money is the same, $13.88 an hour. It will be effective September 20th. You can see the resumes attached. She looks to be very computer literate. She's worked in the account clerk in Orange County, in the office of the way under the town clerk. She's been an election inspector, a bulletin secretary, a legal secretary, and a receptionist. So,
For the district attorney's office.
in the district attorney's office. So anyway, the two justices have interviewed her and would like to hire her.
This is a replacement, right?
This is a replacement for Samara Matos. Okay. Would someone like to make a motion that we, in this regard?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Just as I said along, it's $13.80 an hour, no benefits.
Right.
No benefits and total of 20 hours per week. Yeah.
I just hope she stays longer than the others.
Yeah. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. The next item, 11. Do we have anything new on this drainage improvement on Reservoir Road? Okay.
Councilman Canarino and I have to meet on this.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
Yeah, again,
Okay.
other pressing matters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
have a set of plans. Complaints.
That also, yeah.
Okay.
I do have the original set of plans, I found a copy.
Okay, good.
Okay, we went through the budget.